61. Three V. Approximately the same place on the blade. $60.5. So approximately, let's just say very close to the same Rockwell, all right? Okay, we're going to do a cut test is what we're doing, if you hadn't seen by the title. So I'm going to touch both of them up using a DC3, Falcon Even, DC3, because that's pretty much standard what most people have, all right? So we're just going to kind of touch the edges up a little bit, and basically we're just finding that angle on the Scandi a few times on either side. Then we're going to hit it a few times on the what they call the ceramic side, I guess. We're just going to use a clean piece of leather. The back side of the DC3 stone works fine, and just kind of clean the edge a little bit. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the AEB-L. Okay, both of these have the same cutting edge of about 12.5 to 13 degrees on either side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this sisal rope. Just got it at Lowe's. It's 3/4 inch sisal rope, which is a natural fiber rope. And we're just going to count how many times, let me move the camera down. How many times we can, it'll cut before it's no longer a good cut, okay? Just kind of give you an idea how sharp they are. Okay. Both of them are about the same sharpness. I don't have any hair on my arms, but they both shave. Now, I will say this. No matter what stones I use, no matter what sharpening method I use, AEB-L just feels sharper than 3V. It's just the molecular structure of AEB-L, which is using K2 carbides versus what 3V uses, and I'm not sure what they use, but it's not K2. It's some other carbides that they use, and it just, for some reason, the edge on AEB-L feels sharper than Nitro V. They're both sharp, but it's just something about AEB-L and the carbides that it feels sharper. But anyway, so let's take the AEB-L and let's just start making cuts. And we'll go past the taped end. Is that 10 cuts? Let's do 20. Okay, that's 20. You hear that? You don't want to shave anymore. You can feel it kind of grabbing there a little bit. I mean, it's still sharp, but it just doesn't cut as well, okay? So let's do 20 cuts with the 3B. Okay, I counted 20. Still feels sharp. So it's about the same on the paper cut. It won't shave either. No. It feels sharp, but it lost that edge, that fine edge. The AEB-L still feels sharper. See how it's grabbing the fingernail? .3V does the same thing. So there you have it. Now longevity, I guess both of them did 20, so let's just go from there. It's another 20, so that's 40. That's 50. So there's 60. It's having to use a little bit more sawing action. Still feels sharp. It does cut the paper, just not as well. Okay, now let's try to do 40 more with this 3B. That's 30. And I'm applying more pressure now. And it's having to use more sawing action. So about half the cuts, and 3V is already just doesn't want to cut. It wants to grab the fingernail. So anyway, I mean, without a lab testing this stuff, I don't. Move the camera up. Okay, what did this test prove? You be the judge. I mean, in lab results, and I've done comparisons with 3V and other steels, and I did one with an 01 and compared to a 3V. Is 3V worth the extra cost? You have to decide that one. I don't think that the edge retention is all that great. Like I said, AEB-L feels sharper right out of the box. No matter what you do with 3V, it just never feels as sharp as what you can get it on the AEB-L. Now recovery is no doubt easier with AEB-L. AEB-L gets sharper quicker, because that's what I've lost count. So that's what, 5 strokes on either side. Okay, and let's just hit it with the, I'm going to use the ceramic side. Let's hit it with a piece of leather. I'm not sure what micron that BC3 is, but it's sharp now. Just back to shaving. Okay, so let's do it 5 times on either side with the AEB-L. That's just half the time. It's already sharp. So AEB-L gets sharper quicker. In count test and other things, it gets sharper in about the same amount of strokes, or maybe a few less than 0.1. And I've got these test videos all on my YouTube channel. It shaves a little bit, but not very well. But it is sharp. It just doesn't have a razor's edge. That shaves a little bit. You see that? So they're about equally sharp. Half the amount of time with AEB-L. AEB-L lasts, what, 3 times longer in this test? So, I don't know, man, but I will say this. In lab test results, 3V did test with a higher toughness, okay? Now, I mean, if you're going to go out and you're going to use them as pry bars, you're going to use them as in a survival situation, you're going to be beating on the thing and just going through some real abuse with the knife, then maybe 3V is a better choice for you. I don't know. You're going to have to make that decision. Compare the price difference with the need, and only you can answer that question. Okay, so 3V is the cost of steel and the cost to manufacture it, because it does take longer to heat treat. It takes longer to grind. It takes probably about 1/3 more belts than what any of the other steels take, and those belts run $10-12 a piece. So you know the cost starts adding up, and so anyway, that's my results on it. Do I like 3V? Yeah, 3V is a good steel. Is it a premium steel like it's touted? Well, lab results say it is. Real world, will you see a difference? It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. So anyway. Okay, let's add to that test video. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a coarse edge on 3V. Maybe, and I have found this to be the case, that some steels require a different edge to get their high performance. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to touch this up with no ceramic. I'm just going to use the grit on the DC3. So we're going to do a very coarse edge, which I've said in many videos that I prefer a coarser edge. And we're going to go from there and see how well it cuts. We'll see if we can't get to that 60 cuts before it kind of plays out. That was going to get a little tough on the old arms right there. They just did not want to cut through that rope. Okay, it feels sharp. It bites into the fingernail. Get another piece of paper here. You see it grabbing the paper. That's the reason coarse edges perform better as a general purpose edge. Now, different edges are best at different applications. Like a highly polished edge is great for wood process or woodworking, wood carving, I should say, detailed, intricate carving. You don't see it as much as the camp carving, like the pot hangers and the tent stakes and stuff like that. But intricate carving, like wood spirits and things like that, then a polished edge and spoons. Then a polished edge works better at carving because the minute you touch it, it starts cutting. Whereas with a coarser edge, you have to do a slicing motion to get it to cut. But that's about the only thing that I personally prefer a polished edge on. And they don't last as long. as a coarser edge, and I've got videos demonstrating that. If you go back through my 500 videos, then I think if you do a search on YouTube, WC knives polished versus coarse or something like that, that video will pop up. But anyway, but there is situations where different edges require a different sharpening method. Okay, so anyway, so we're going to do a count. Let me move the camera back down so you can go with me here. Okay, so this is a coarse edge, and you can feel, I mean, when you drag your finger across it, it wants to cut you, it wants to slice you. So let's see how well it does. That's 40, and you can really tell it. It's 52. My hand's starting to cramp up. Okay, that's 60. All right, so let's say how many times back and forth sawing does it cut through it, and you just got to trust me with the same amount of pressure. 7. Okay, I have not touched this knife up. 4. Well, I mean, it's in my test and in my experience, that's what I find. Now, if you like 3V and that's the steel you prefer, then by all means keep using it, because it is a good steel. It really is. Or is it worth the money? That's up to you. That's your call. To some people it may be, to some others it may not be. I will say that it is tougher, and that's according to laboratory results. Real world use, will that become a factor? I don't know, it depends on how you use the knife and what you expect out of the knife. So, anyway, Till the next one, you guys get in the backyard with a long stick. Be sure to take a child with you, get the opportunity. And don't forget to plenty of Band-Aids and lots of knives. And you test your own knives out. Do your own test. See what you come up with. Okay? And we'll catch you again very soon. And that last part, then I did not sharpen this knife, so it has the edge was not as coarse as what the edge was on the 3B. So does that make a difference? Maybe a coarser edge on the AEB-L would even cut better. You know, it just, I don't know. You just have to play around with different methods and different things to find out what works best for you. Okay? All I'm here to do is just get you to thinking. All right? Okay, till the next one. You guys be careful. Bye-bye.